Welcome to this new edition of the Statline podcast. I'm Safal.
And I'm Atlas. We are so back, man.
Oh, we're so back, dude. That has to be one of the craziest NFL weeks of all time. Like all time, but I mean, good stories. Some are horrific, brutal stories like the Jayden injury from last night, but still, like the storylines, like this is what the National Football League delivers.
Dude, this is what it delivers. Like we saw some amazing games. I think the craziest game had to been
No,
the
forget all that. Forget all that. The best thing about yesterday was the Carolina Panthers. We got the biggest win probably since this guy was there. Since Cam Newton was there, that was the best win we've had probably since we beat the Eagles in 2018. And 2018, we didn't even end up making the playoffs. So let's see what happens this year. But this is the biggest win since at least 7 years ago, dude. I could not believe it. Oh my God. Dave Canales, Rico Dowdle,
dude,
Bryce
Rico
Young.
RB1 season going up to Lambeau.
Oh my
and just,
God, dude.
dude, that
Oh,
was insane.
that's what
And
that's what Panthers football is all about, dude. Keep pounding. Oh my God.
prayers up for Tucker Kraft as we talk about this game. It was devastating to see his
For
torn
sure.
ACL, and as a Tucker Kraft fantasy owner, man, I'm starting to cry because he was so good this year. And
He was.
now,
I mean, he was tight end one entering the week this week, I think, after his like performance against the Steelers when he was catching everything.
yeah, I think he had like 33 last week, and then this week
Dude,
basically
okay.
zero.
But I want to talk about the Panthers. I want to talk about how great that win was. Bryce Young. I get it. The stat pal like watchers, the box score watchers are gonna look at that game and be like, "Oh, Bryce Young had 100 yards." Like, what? No, trust. Bryce Young did what he needed to do to win that game. Now he made a bad throw that caused an interception in the beginning of the game, but other than that, like, as a Panthers fan and like Alice, you know how much I love me some Cam Newton. That's my guy. But when it's the clutch, when the game's on the line and number nine is heading out on that field, there's a part of me that's like, I feel like I trust number nine more than I trusted one back in the day. And that's saying a lot. Like yesterday when Bryce Young was about to go onto that field, when it was a tie game with 2 minutes and 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter, I had no doubt in my mind. I was like, of course, Bryce got it. This is what Bryce is built for. And as a Panthers fan, I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Dude, I love Bryce, but I don't even think we need to talk about Bryce. He did enough to show that, he had a serviceable game. He was able to take the team and win in Lambeau. But I think we need to talk about the other quarterback, Jordan Love, because earlier this year we were having conversations. I know, one of our other league mates, Tucker, was talking trash about Jalen Hurts, talking about Jordan Love. Like, that had to have been the worst pass in NFL history. And Michael Jackson just decides to just drop it, in the end zone, fourth and
Awful.
8. First
You would
off,
have had a pick six.
LaFleur, you gotta kick a field goal. Like, why are you going for it on fourth and 8 with that play call in mind? And then second off, like, Jordan Love does this. Like, he throws across his body. He's gonna get these picks, and like, there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't think that the Packers have enough outside of Jordan Love that is going to elevate them to win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love as the quarterback, at least this year. We'll see how he progresses, but I think we've seen enough tape of him to know that like he's not going to make the greatest decisions. And I mean, some games
Okay, I think that's taking a bit too far. The Packers fans, their minds have been wiped with, oh, Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw interceptions. Why is Jordan Love throwing picks? Let's
no,
calm
no,
down
it's
here,
not.
guys. The Panthers are a good team, guys. The Panthers are a good team. The Packers lost to one of the best defenses in football, Derek Brown and them boys. One of the best red zone defenses in football. They give up the yards between the 20s. But guess what? In the National Football League, we don't care about the 20s. We only care about red zone football and Rico Dowdle. But
I know
sorry.
dude,
I'm just too excited about the Panthers. I'm just too
no.
excited about the Panthers.
No, as you should be, bro. That was an insane win. But you want to talk about red
Best
zone
win.
football? You want to talk about red zone football? Jordan Love in the red zone is not
I
an
agree.
elite quarterback. And
Jordan
McMahon,
Love in the red zone, but to your point, Matt LaFleur in the red zone. 4th and 8. What are you doing, man? I mean, that's just a gross overcorrection of fourth down football, right? We get it. The league is shifting to going forward on fourth down, especially in opponent's territory. Now with the kickback or the kickoff, like touchback being at the 35-yard line, I get it. The league wants to go for it more on 4th down, but 4th and 8, like, take the points, man. It's a defensive struggle out there. It's not even a shootout. If it was a shootout, I would get it. But what the score of the game is 13-6 at that point? You got to take the points. You got to take the points.
And then, I mean, I will give Jordan Love some grace. Like, he did lose his best top pass catcher in Tucker Kraft, and that was his security blanket all season. But, you can't be making stupid plays like that. And, like, I mean, say what you want about the Panthers, and I know that they are a resurgent team this year, but they are still the Panthers, and you can't do that against any NFL team, much less the Panthers, bro. Like, well, you look like a CFL quarterback out there half the time. And, I mean, even the deep ball to Christian Watson that he got out there, it was underthrown. If he would have hit him in stride, that would have been a surefire touchdown. I mean, I love Jordan Love, but, that –
I get it. Like, you're going against Jordan Love, but we do have to remember a week ago, Jordan Love played, like, essentially a perfect game against the Steelers. A Steelers team that caused 6 turnovers against the number 1 offense in the league, by the way. But Jordan Love went to Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football against his idol Aaron Rodgers just 1 week before this, and he did ball out. So I think you're discounting the Panthers' defense there. There was dude, that Panthers' defense is legit.
No, I 100% agree. But at the same time, you can have those really good games, and you're gonna always have the regression every single week, like for Jordan Love, and I don't think it's really manageable for a playoff success. Like, you can't guarantee him to have 4 straight good games in a row in the playoffs to win a Super Bowl. That's my whole point.
The problem with the Packers is they play down to their opponent, because you look at their games, right? Lions week 1, dominant. Against the Commanders, this is the Jayden Daniels, like, Commanders with expectations, not the Commanders of now, and they handled business. And then the Browns stunk it up, right? Browns, one of the worst teams in football. And then against Dallas, tied against a mediocre team in Dallas. And then they beat Cincinnati. I mean, Joe Flacco was dealing by the end. Arizona, they snuck it out. Pittsburgh, they handled business. And then against Carolina, they put up a dud. So I do see where you're coming from. Green Bay, I think on paper, people look at Green Bay as this, like, juggernaut, but in reality, I mean, they squeaked by Arizona with Jacoby Brissett. Joe Flacco was dealing on him, and I get it. Joe Flacco's legit, by the way, man. You saw that game against Chicago? We'll get to that at the end.
T. Higgins, bro. That's all I got to say about that.
That catch. Oh, my God.
Those catches, bro. Every single one of his catches were elite. Like, he is a top 5 go up and get it guy in the league. Probably number 1 at just jump balls. Like, the dude's insane.
But either way, staying on the Packers here, though. The Green Bay Packers, their next game is against the Philadelphia Eagles, and then they're at the Giants, and they have Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, a divisional gauntlet. I think the next 4 weeks determine if they're a Super Bowl contender or not, especially this very next game. Eagles versus Packers could come down to, who gets the 1 seed in the NFC. Huge implications there. Now, Packers are in the NFC North. We don't know what's going on in that division, man. Everyone seems legit. J.J. McCarthy, we thought he was a bum, but he clutched up at the end with that. Man. Yeah, I mean, he clutched up with that throw to Jalen Naylor at the end. And then Detroit obviously didn't play their best yesterday, but, you can't doubt against Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs, and those boys up in Motown. And then Chicago. Like, Ben Johnson is quietly creeping there in Chicago. Caleb Williams is catching touchdown passes. He's throwing touchdown passes. There's a tight end taking a snap, giving it to Caleb Williams. I mean, he's got all the trickery in the books, and Chicago's like, they're there. So let's see how the division shakes up. But yeah, I don't know, man. That was a bad loss by the Packers, but amazing win by the Panthers. Best win in the franchise. Now let's go to a little bit of a kind of a sour note.
Let's go to the Bears game, since we were just talking about it.
Okay, you want to talk about the Bears? All right, let's do it. That was the greatest game, greatest regular season game since the 2018 Rams and Chiefs. What do you think?
Dude, honestly, I love defense and I love offense, but like the amount of missed plays on defense on both sides, like it was laughable. Especially obviously in the fourth quarter, like I mean, don't even get me started. Like on both sides of the ball, like you had so many miscues, especially that last
all
Loveland
three
touchdown.
phases, special teams too, the onside kick.
Oh yeah, dude.
And Evan McPherson hit a
Sorry.
field goal short, under 50 yards, by the way. Cam Little is out there hitting a 68-yard field goal, and Evan McPherson, one of the best kickers in football, by the way, didn't have enough distance on a 50-yard field goal. Not wide left, wide right. He just didn't have enough like arm or foot strength, whatever they call it.
Yeah,
He
that
didn't
that
have
game.
enough leg.
But you were talking about the Bears, like I don't think that they should be like, they should not be the record that they have right now because they should have lost that game 100%. Like the Bengals did everything right at the very end to get them
No,
back
no,
in
no.
position.
No, they got an onside kick, Atlas. The Bears were up 47 or 41 to 27 with 5 minutes left.
No, I meant they did everything at the very end as far as they got the onside kick and they drove the ball. They still could get the ball down the field. They just scored too quick. That was their issue.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then their
that's true.
defense cannot stop like anything. Like this is it has to be one of the historically worst defenses like in the NFL's history because man, the Bengals defense like especially like leaving a rookie tight end in the middle of the field basically wide open and then just brushes off of a defender and runs it all the way home. Like, man, that game, like they're both very mid teams, even though Chicago's got a pretty good record. But like, their defense is going to be.
Chicago's record is you gotta take it with a grain of salt, I guess. They beat the Cowboys, they squeaked by the Raiders, squeaked by the Commanders, they beat the Saints, they lost to Snoop Huntley, and then they beat the Bengals with Joe Flacco. I mean, everyone puts up points on the Bengals. Everyone, literally.
Yeah, if you're not
I could be
scoring
a
30.
quarterback of the NFL team and put up 40 burger against that Bengals team. Nah, I'm kidding, but still.
No, but 100%,
But either
that
way,
was a great game.
forget about the implications of what the teams are. That was just a great game to watch, especially the ending of that game from the DJ Moore fumble to Zach Taylor, challenging the play that ended up hurting his own team, to the onside recovery, to Joe Flacco dealing to Caleb Williams throwing it to Colston Loveland, and Loveland being like, oh shit, I can get this shit to the end zone, and then he starts running. What a fabulous game. The T. Higgins catch was that game, just like action packed. That's what the Sunday 1 o'clock slot is for, man. That is the pinnacle of the Sunday 1 o'clock slot that we just had this week. What a fantastic game.
Yep, it was a great game overall.
Now, let's move on to a little sour note that I was referring to earlier. Jayden Daniels with one of the most gruesome injuries that you'll see on a football field, man. That looked brutal. I mean, is this the lost season for the Commanders? Where do they go from here, dude? This is like I can't begin to explain, Atlas, and we'll get into the details here of like what a monumental injury this is for the like I guess direction of the Commanders franchise. Obviously, Jayden Daniels is a quarterback, the skill players around him. I mean, that is a franchise-altering injury potentially.
This is
right?
this is Derrick Rose getting injured against the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round when there's no reason he should be in the game. And same thing here. Why is Dan Quinn have your star quarterback running on a goal line route and with 7 minutes to go in the game, you're down like 24. It's not going to happen. You're not going to win that game. There's no chance that you're going to win that game. Like the Seahawks proved that they were going to stop you. They were going to score at will, and there's literally zero reason for Jayden Daniels to be out there. It was a clean tackle, but it was a terrible way to fall on yourself, and that shouldn't even be replayed, man. I watched that a couple of times.
I know. I called you right when it happened. I called you, and while you were driving, I was like, "Dude, worst injury." Like, I mean, it's like probably similar to Tyreek, Cam, like one of those like just gruesome, visibly like it just like shakes you to your like bone. You know what I mean? Like you watch it, and you go, "Oh man." Like we all love football. But at the same time, we all hate like that part of football.
Yeah.
And I get your point on blaming Dan Quinn, and I get it. Why is Jayden Daniels out there? But it's part of the game, man. It could have happened in the first quarter as well. It can happen at any given moment, right? It's football.
It can happen, but I mean,
but it's part of risk management, right?
Yeah, but
football comes down to risk management.
He has not been healthy like most of the season. Like you've had Mariota as your starter for at least 3 games, and you could trust Mariota if you need a touchdown. And in that state of the game, like put Mariota in. Obviously, Mariota will be the quarterback going forward the rest of this season. But yeah, implications for the rest of the season. Yeah, the Commanders are cooked. Like they were already cooked
I mean,
before this game.
forget about rest of the season. I think we need to talk about what the future of the Commanders organization is going to be. I mean, is Jayden Daniels going to come back healthy? If he comes back healthy, do you exercise his fifth-year option? I mean, I think at this point you have to exercise his fifth-year option, even if he's out all of next year, Atlas, right? Do you think the Commanders have enough film, plus given the injury now as well, that the Commanders can exercise that fifth-year option?
Yes,
That's a big decision because you don't want to be in a Tua Tagovailoa situation. You don't want a Russell Wilson situation where you pay a guy for what they've done, but not what they're gonna do. And you don't want to be into a situation where you pay this guy a boatload of money and he's gonna stink up the bed. I get it. Look, Jayden Daniels, I hope he comes back healthy. I hope he comes back and tears the league apart and wins the MVP and takes the Commanders to the Super Bowl. He deserves it. He's one of the bright spots in the league, and that was just an awful injury. But this is a real conversation we got to have if he's going to be out for next year as well. I mean, look, if that was his throwing arm, that might have been a career-ending injury.
100%. Yeah, luckily it was not on his throwing arm, but yeah, like you said, it could be, all of next season. Who knows? We it's really too early to tell like how it's gonna look. I think he'll be back 100%. Like he's come back. The issue is he came back from very big injuries in college too, and
He did, yeah.
how long is he gonna be able to do this? Like we talked about, before this season, even like him being like the reincarnation of RG3. Which obviously I think talent-wise, like he's more suited for the NFL than RG3. But yeah, a freak accident that nobody expected to happen, and yeah, he's gonna have to put some muscle on, and unfortunate for the Commanders fans and especially for Jayden Daniels. I do think he will get that fifth-year extension and a new contract. He'll be resetting the QB market eventually. But is Dan Quinn gonna
I mean,
be able to have a long leash after this? Like, after this season, it's gonna be probably 4 to 5 wins for the full season. They're gonna tank the rest of the way, if I had to guess. And next season, like if Kingsbury decides to leave, what's gonna happen to Dan Quinn? Is he gonna be able to keep that thing afloat? And then if they start really slow next year without Daniels, like how much of a leash does he really have, Safal?
no, I mean, look, there's two things. I agree. Dan Quinn is a talk, but I still want to stick on Jayden Daniels' point of view because that injury is so bad in so many levels. Jayden Daniels, if he was healthy and finishes out the year and plays next year, like you said, he would have reset the quarterback market, right? He's the only rookie quarterback to take his team to a championship game other than Ben Roethlisberger back in 2004. And remember, Big Ben took a loaded Pittsburgh team that year. Jayden Daniels took a team that was drafting number 2 overall the year before and took him to the NFC Championship game. And this year, the Commanders have been fine when Jayden Daniels is on the field. It's just Jayden Daniels has been injured. And Jayden Daniels goes from a guy who's going to reset the quarterback market to is he going to get a fifth-year option now? And I hope he does. And that's one side of the things. The other side of the thing is with Dan Quinn, like, it's in the NFL, you get 3 years to fix it, right? Within 3 years, you got to prove can you win it. That's just a coaching game, and it sucks that for Dan Quinn that like proving that you can win happened in year one. It happened to Brian Daboll in year one, and Brian Daboll's probably going to get fired now in New York after this year. Dan Quinn might be headed the same way if Jayden Daniels is out for this year. I mean, we know he's probably going to be out for this year. If he's out for next year as well, and the Commanders finish with 5 wins this year, and they finish with 3 wins next year, and if Kingsbury leaves and the offense is not, the same level as it has been over the past year and a half, it might be time for a switch up in Washington. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Dan Quinn, he was a new head coach last year. I know we give a lot of credit to Jayden Daniels for the year that Commanders had last year, but Dan Quinn was also the new head coach in Washington. He was a big reason for that culture change. He brought in guys like Bobby Wagner. He brought in guys like Debo this year to fix up that team. And I mean, let's see what they do. But it just so hurts, man. Watching being a football fan, you want to watch the greatest players play at the greatest levels, and it just hurts.
But I mean, let's also talk a little bit about like their roster construction as a whole. Like they have a rookie quarterback
Way
on
too
his
many old guys.
yeah, they have a rookie contract right now, which isn't going to be able to be utilized over the next year, year and a half. And then you pay older guys like, I mean, Bobby Wagner, Terry
Terry
McLaurin.
McLaurin.
You know, he held out all of camp, and then you still pay him 30 million a year, and then of course he's going to get injured. Like he hasn't played all of camp, and then he's on the wrong side of his 30s as well. So
Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz. I mean,
Debo.
Debo's not a spring chicken, and like the only
Von
like
Miller.
yeah, Von Miller, Marshawn Lattimore tore his ACL, so he's not gonna play with the Commanders ever again. I can guarantee you that. Like I mean, they really don't have that much talent on their team. Like Jayden Daniels covered up a whole bunch of stuff that he really was not expected to, and that's why we were talking about him resetting the quarterback market, but. Yeah, overall, I don't think they're in good shape whatsoever. Like, you have Jayden Daniels, and that was your main bright spot of the team, and now you have to question like his validity of, what he's gonna do when he comes back on the field. But yeah, it's sad to see, and I pray for all Commanders fans, and
For sure.
like I said, especially JD.
And I just want to point out something, Atlas. Like as an NFL fan, we all have our own ways on learning this hard truth, but football is such a like things can turn on a singular play. The entire trajectory of a franchise can turn on one single
Mm-hmm.
play. And look, I'm a Panthers fan. When Cam Newton made it to the Super Bowl in 2015, did I ever think that that's the last time I'm going to see my team in the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. I thought we're going to be a dynasty. Cam Newton's young. Luke Kuechly's young. We have Greg Olsen. Kelvin Benjamin's hurt that year. He's coming back. I was thinking, oh, we're going to go on this run. We never made it back. The closest we got to after that was a wild card loss. Okay, that's the closest Carolina's ever been to, touching the Super Bowl. I mean, and that was in 2017. We haven't even sniffed a winning record since then. And now Washington last year with a rookie quarterback makes it to the NFC Championship game. All the Commanders fans who've been, enduring for years are happy. They think they have a future in this league. They think they have a bright future. They have a young quarterback who's on a rookie deal, brand new head coach, and bam, just like that, your organization just got reset in one play. So, I mean, it's just a reminder to all football fans, don't take anything for granted, man. Things can change in one play in this league. It's a tough league. That's why we all watch it. Um, it's a great league. It brings all of us together, but yeah, it's a tough league, man. Tough league.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's just to touch on that point really quickly. Like, did you think like in 2017 when the Eagles went to play the Rams that I would ever think that Wentz would never like be able to play in a Super Bowl like again? Like,
Yeah.
and he ended up not being ever the guy after that, and we gave him a
Carson Wentz
chance,
going
but
into that Rams game, like if you had an
no
NFL
doubts.
draft, and if you had an NFL draft of everyone available at the time on who you want to start your franchise with, I'm not even kidding. There would have been real NFL general managers who would have took Carson Wentz to
Mm-hmm.
start their franchise. I mean,
Yep.
this was before Mahomes. This is before
This
Josh
was
Allen.
towards the end of Tom Brady.
Yeah, at the end of Brady. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still there. Tom Brady still played a few years, but still, it was at the end of their prime, right? End
Mm-hmm.
of Drew Brees' prime. Now, Cam was in his prime. Russell Wilson. Those were kind of the guys. Andrew Luck. That was kind of the guys.
Stafford.
But Carson Wentz was in the top echelon of players. I mean, he was the MVP of the league going into that Rams game, and
Mm-hmm.
never again, right? He never reached those heights again, and it's the tough part of football, tough part of sports, man. You root for guys, you root for players, you build this this real connection, even though they're just like figures on the television set. You don't really know them personally, but you feel like you do, right? Like you feel like with Cam Newton, I felt like me and him are intertwined. I'm connected to this guy. Like my days are good when Cam Newton played good. If Cam Newton sunk it up on Sunday, it just ruined my day. And you see your favorite players get injured. It's just man. Like, and this year we've had too many situations. I mean, I feel like we say this every year in football. It's just part of the normal football routine at this point. Guys getting hurt, but yeah,
Yeah.
tough day, man. Tough watch yesterday.
Yeah, dude, Jayden Daniels, like he may come back and be stronger than he has been in the past,
I
and
mean, let's hope so, man. That's all
hope
we can
so,
hope
but
for.
the vibes are never going to be this exact same as their first year with the Commanders. So yeah, that's how
Yeah.
quickly things can change. But yeah,
Now
man.
let's talk about another 2024 quarterback, JJ McCarthy. He finally made his return yesterday. Many of us speculated that that was a fake injury and it was a benching under the hood. I thought that. Um, I thought that they were just prolonging JJ McCarthy's injury, so they didn't want to like admit that, they whiffed on McCarthy. He didn't look good against that Falcons game, but I gotta admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about JJ McCarthy. He looked good yesterday. I mean, especially in that first half, man. When the start of the game, he was just dealing left and right, cooking. And then at the end of the game, you know, 3rd and 4, balls in JJ's hands. You're on the road against, Detroit Lions, who've back-to-back NFC North champions, 15-2 team from last year. They're at the top of the division this year, and he delivered. He put up a perfect ball to Jalen Naylor, and
That
we
was
all got to
beautiful
eat
to
up our
watch.
words.
That was
We all got
beautiful
to
to
eat up our
watch.
words. Good
I
shit,
th-
JJ. Good
yeah,
shit.
good shit, JJ. I think all NFL fans really expected the Lions to end up coming back and winning that game. And then yeah, that last throw to Jalen Naylor, sorry, was obviously the end of the game. But yeah, JJ McCarthy played amazing, and I think this is a big thing on Brian Flores' resume though too, because he made Jared Goff look very bad for parts of that game, and then Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery both couldn't get anything going. So to be able to hold both of those running backs in check, and then also keep Goff in the pocket, and get a bunch of sacks on him, like yeah, Minnesota's defense was looking really good, and yeah, props to JJ McCarthy on getting that win.
Yeah. Um, Man, I mean that. What a great weekend of football. We've just been talking 27 minutes of football, Atlas, right? And I know like a good portion we mentioned about the JJ McCarthy or Jane Daniels injury, which no one likes seeing, but we haven't even gone to the biggest game of the week so far. The Chiefs and the Bills played, and the Chiefs through what is it now? In 9 weeks of football are not in the playoff picture. They're
That's
they're
crazy.
the eighth seed in the AFC right now. I mean, I think we expect that to change. I think both you and I are on the same page that Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, they'll figure it out. But dude, that's insane. The Chiefs are not in the playoff picture. I mean, do you
They've
think
had a
like
really tough schedule as well.
football is different than basketball? I get it. In basketball, like you're coasting through the regular season. Even like mediocre teams coast through the regular season. But there's a part of me that thinks, is this like you remember those Warriors teams with KD, Steph, Clay? They're just coasting through the regular season until the playoffs, and then they're showing out, right? Have the Chiefs reached that level of dominance where the regular season just doesn't like no one gives a fuck about the regular season in Kansas City? We're talking Lombardi's over there, man. The season starts in the AFC Championship game over there. I mean, they've made it to the AFC Championship game every year of the past 6 years. What do you
I
think of this dynamic?
I think they care about every regular season game, but the Bills, bro. They want to get the tape on the Bills. They could care less if they win that game. Like they could really care less. Like the Bills can get their regular season win. It's not gonna happen in the playoffs. Like everything, at least historically, is telling us that. Like maybe this is the year Josh Allen gets it done. But no, I'm not worried about the Chiefs. Like we said previously, like they have had multiple injuries. Rice was out the first 6 weeks. And they're getting their running game back into form. Pacheco's out right now currently, but yeah, no, the Chiefs I'm definitely not worried about, and yeah, the Bills can get their regular season win. I think it only helps fuel the fire of Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs and what he's able to convince his mind or convince the rest of his team that he's able to do in the playoffs and the rest of the world too. I think, they are in a way coasting towards the playoffs, but, they're in the same track as the Panthers. They started out, very in a bad record. They got to 2-3, and then now they're 5-4. So,
Damn,
if
did you just compare the Mahomes and Andy Reid's Chiefs to the Panthers in the big 2025? My goodness.
yeah, I know you're happy about that. Hopefully that has the same fruitful success in the playoffs as the Chiefs
Dude,
for the Panthers this year.
We making it to the bowl this year. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right here, right now. I had the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. I'm overriding that. The Carolina Panthers are going to get there this year. You heard it here first, dude. Bryce Young, he has ice in his veins. Like
You
I've never seen a quarterback who is so mid for most of the game, and then when it's time to win, every Panther fan, I promise you this, every Panther fan that was watching that game yesterday, when Bryce Young took the field in late in the fourth quarter at Lambeau with the game on the line, every Panther fan was like, "Oh, that's Bryce. He got it. This is what he's built for, man." And he's been doing it since college. He did it, against Auburn in the Iron Bowl, the 10-3 game that ended up going to overtime. He did it then. He's been doing it in Carolina most of the second half of last year. Now this year, almost every game he wins for Carolina is a game-winning drive. The brothers just got ice in his veins. What is there to say?
Dude, shout out to Fitzgerald, the rookie kicker, man. Being better than McManus at his home stadium, up in Lambeau, like that took some balls of steel, and he made it happen. But we have not seen. You wanted to talk about the Panthers making the ball. We have not seen this new look Eagles team. Now we had a bye week this week, but we did address the biggest concerns that we had on the defensive side. We got Jalen Phillips, which was a steal. I know it's just going to be a season rental most likely. If he plays well, he's going to play out of Philadelphia. Like, there's no way we'll be able to sign him to a big deal. But we're only paying $500,000 for the rest of his season. The Miami Dolphins were able to
get
cover
a compensatory pick.
Yeah, so it's
if he leaves in free agency,
so
you'll get some sort of pick
down like one round or whatever, and I think that's worth it for the Super Bowl push this year. But then, even bigger than that, our cornerback 2 position was the weakest link of our team by far, and we traded basically peanuts to get Michael Carter, and then even less peanuts to get Jair Alexander. So with those 2 signings, they both could be washed. They both, could be trash. And that's, perfectly plausible in today's NFL with how they have recently played. But if we can get one good game in the playoffs out of both of them, or at least to run to the Super Bowl, it would obviously be worth it. I think Jair Alexander, 1 pick against Jordan Love, will just be icing on the cake. I'm so excited for this playoff run, and with NFCs, a lot of the top dogs are kind of falling off a little bit, and I think the Eagles are rising to the top with Brandon Graham as well coming back. I'm excited for this post bye week run for the Eagles, and let's see how they play against the Packers. But I just had to mention the Eagles because we didn't talk about them, and I know we were on bye, but had to bring up the future of our team.
For sure. Right now, right before we go, I just want to get on this last point. Right now in the AFC, the division leaders are the Colts, Patriots, Broncos, and Steelers. Welcome back 2014, man. Do you expect this to continue? I mean, the Colts. Okay, Daniel Jones looked like a pumpkin yesterday. Like I think Daniel Jones,
New York Giants, Colts.
Yeah, he looked like the Giants DJ. The Patriots, you know what I think about Drake May. That he's him. Drake May's the real deal. But they need to play real opponents. They almost lost to the Falcons yesterday. Most of their wins have, they've been cupcake wins. Let's call it what it is. Other than the Bills win, right? The Bills is when they put the entire league on notice. But there's 2 ways you can look at it. They need to get real wins. The other side is if they keep winning, Drake May might be the MVP of the league. So let's see what the Patriots do. The Denver Broncos, I do not believe in at all. That is a fraudulent 7-2 record.
Before the season, you said that they were going to be the most likely fall off of playoff teams, and I think that they have addressed a couple of the concerns from last year. They won 10 games.
But they have 3 or 4 lucky wins.
Dude, last year they won 10 games.
Justin Fields couldn't. Go ahead.
I was saying, last year they won 10 games but could not win a single-digit game. They could not win those games. This year they are winning those single-digit games. So that's where their wins are coming from. So, I think that they've alleviated some of their concerns. And, 100%.
But the thing is, I get it, what you're saying, but their wins, they beat a Jets team that did not have an offense, right? And if they had an offense, they would have lost to the Jets. They beat the Texans with Davis Mills at quarterback, and they squeaked by them. Not even, you know what I mean? They had a game-winning field goal against Davis Mills. And like I mentioned, the Jets, they almost like they barely beat Cam Ward in his first start with Brian Callahan, might be the worst coach in NFL history. I mean, now they did almost beat the Colts on some BS leverage penalty or whatever they call it, but I don't know, man. I sense a little fraudulence. They got with the Eagles, they had the great fourth quarter comeback against the Giants, great fourth quarter comeback. It's just not sustainable in this league to win this in this way. And they have the Chiefs twice still. Actually, their schedule is pretty easy still. They have the 2 games against the Raiders, they have the Commanders, they have the Jaguars, and they have Chiefs twice, the Packers, and the Chargers. Those 4 games will determine what we think about Denver. But Denver to me looks like one of those 11-6 teams, 12-5 teams that loses in the first round of the playoffs. That's what Denver looks like to me.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm just saying I think they will obviously make the playoffs this year with their current record right now and their upcoming games. But R.J. Harvey, man, he's going to be a problem in this league, and I think that's
if we go down the list, right?
Team.
If the Broncos played the Colts in the playoffs, I like the Colts. If they played the Patriots, I like the Patriots. If they played Steelers against Aaron Rodgers, I like the Steelers. Bills, I like the Bills. If they play against Justin Herbert and the Chargers, give me Jay Herbo. If they played against the Chiefs, give me Mahomes. Who are they beating in the playoffs? If they play against Baltimore, if Baltimore somehow gets in and sneaks in, give me Lamar all day, any day. Though I feel like amongst the playoff teams in the AFC right now, the Broncos and Jaguars are right next to each other in just fraudulent teams in my eyes.
You could say the same thing. You could say the same thing about the Patriots. To be honest, there's a good chance that they're first round exits.
That's true. The Patriots also give off 2021 Titans vibes.
Yeah, first year Texans with the Stroud. Yeah, it's the same type of situation as that. I love D'Amico Ryans, I love Mike Vrabel, but you're not gonna have the experience right off the bat to win some playoff games, in my opinion. So I would honestly take the Broncos in a best of one playoff game against the Patriots if I had to put my bets in right now. But
that was a great week of football.
Dude, I'm so excited for the playoffs. It's already week 10, and we're coming up close on the end of this. This NFL season.
I remember back in May and June when we were talking, Atlas, talking about setting up this podcast, being excited for football, and now we're in mid-season. Playoffs are about to come. Time flies, man. Time flies.
Yeah, it's I look at my team, fantasy-wise, NFL-wise, and it's just multiple weeks have passed, and I'm just like, wait, what happened? Wait, did we talk about this? Yeah, we did, but it's just time. Time's moving too quick, but. Thank you guys for watching. We're so excited to be back.
Just before we go, Atlas, quick one. Cardinals, Cowboys, it's about to kick off in an hour. Who you got?
No Kyler Murray. I think the Cardinals are better, so give me the Cowboys still.
What was that? Give me the Cardinals.
You're going to take the Cardinals over the Cowboys?
I'll take the Cardinals, yes. I think that anyone's going to throw against those Cowboys defense, man. Worst defense. Cowboys and the Bengals.
Same thing with the Cardinals. They have a decent front four, but outside of that, they're not gonna stop anything. We're gonna see a high scoring game most likely, and I'll take the Dak Prescott in this game. But Jacoby Brissett is better than Kyler Murray, at least this season so far. Yep, NC State legend. Shout out Bam Knight. I hope he runs for 250 tonight. But yes, sir. Thank you guys.
I'm playing him in fantasy, but appreciate everyone. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.